replacing that. But we know not everybody will actually find an app or have an app handy to open the app and find information they want. A lot of people, they will prefer either to ask somebody else or have a report send it to them, and that's usually for those kind of people who either don't have time or they don't want to basically perform that task of actually going to a dashboard to find the information. We usually like send them a report. Then for them people, we become like a report centric analytics. um, but there is another way. And again, it's not a replacement, it's just another option. Instead of you going to analytics, we have an option that analytics goes where you are. And it's not part of today's webinar, but if you follow us on LinkedIn, you probably saw some of the demos we did with the Alexa, like we can ask Alexa's questions that are in Qlik and it will answer back, and many other ways. But embedded, pause for drink, analytics is another way of doing the same. So I have also an announcement to make here. So Jeff, Kurt, and myself, we just quit our jobs. Now we're working for Umbrella Corporation Healthcare, and we work.
Mark, I'm sorry. I was supposed to talk to you about that. I know, call you afterwards, right?
What just happened?
Yeah, so we're working for Umbrella Corporation Healthcare. We're using Qlik. But basically, we're conducting a series of studies, and this is actually, we decided to put like a public-facing website where people can actually follow, what we're finding. But this website, I don't have any data. It's just like the description of the study, the methodology, and actually, this is our team. So Dr. Jeff Fairchild, myself, Dr. Kurt, and if you have any questions about dinosaurs or Qlik, not Philadelphia, or maybe dinosaurs in Philadelphia, you can ask Kurt. But anyway, we started this company. We want to create this website, but we don't have data to present. And we don't have the money yet to give everybody a license so they can access Qlik. So how about instead of they going to Qlik or we giving them access, we allow people to just go to our website and find the data there. So this could be applicable to your internal website, to a public-facing website, to a SharePoint, to like any place where you can embed information. And this was already easy in the Qlik Sense on-prem, and I believe it became easier with the Qlik Cloud. And by the way, I've never done this before, but I trust the documentation before this webinar. But I trust the documentation Qlik provides. It's so easy that even myself can actually, read through it and be able to, make it work. Now, let me show what I have so far. So what I have so far is basically an HTML page, which is this one here. I basically only have an HTML page. It's a basic one. You don't need to build this. So we assuming that there's something that you already have. This is something that was prepared by web developers. It could be like your some web page in your website. It could be a SharePoint, anything. So we're doing the HTML embedding, which, don't worry, it will look like too technical, but I'm only gonna use like this very advanced technique. It was only invented maybe, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago. It's a copy and paste. I'll trust the documentation, I'll copy and paste basically everything. So because Jeff said at the beginning, if you drink, don't code. I want to drink, so there'll be no coding, just copy and paste, which I don't think it counts. So great. Now, if I go to the Qlik documentation, and it's easy, you can go to help.qlik.com and you find the link there. But if you want a shortcut, you can simply go to qlik.dev/embed.
Oh,
Oh yeah, got a drink. So if you go there, if you find all the explanation, if you find tons of examples, so then you'll be able to get going. So if I go here, then it's everything that I need, and then I can copy and paste. So basically, when you're doing embedding, you need basically two things. One, you need to authenticate the users to the web page. So there'll be one thing. And second, you need to embed the objects, like your charts. It could be an entire sheet. It could be specific parts, like it could be like a selection bar, list of fields people can select, all of that. And the beauty is one object communicates to another object in the background. So basically, first thing I need, and it's everything explained here what you need to do. I need to copy this code, place on my page, and it tells me where to place it. And then I just need to, all information that we have in these angle brackets, we need just to replace our information, like what is my Qlik tenant URL? What is the web page URL? Like what is the web page link that will be hosting this? And also something called the client ID, and he explained the OAuth2 client ID. So basically, that's where the magic happens. This is a link to a resource in the Qlik Cloud that will handle the user authentication for you. So you don't need to program tokens. There's no JavaScript needed. It's super simple. So let me show you how to do that, actually, which is pretty simple. In the Qlik Cloud, if I go to admin, there was this OAuth option. So it's very intuitive. So you simply need to come here, create a new one. You select the type. If you want to do like the new anonymous authentication, you can use this. Or you can do like, for example, single page app, which is kind of the default. You give a name, you select the scope, which what I recommend is user default. And then you click, I already have one, so I don't need to create one. You click create, and then it will be created. Once it's created, you simply copy the client ID, which it's what I have here in documentation, client ID. So you copy that, you paste here, and you're good to go. That's how it looks for my page. Already copy and paste that piece. So I have the tenant. I have this client ID that I just talked about. And what is the page? I'm running local on my machine, so there'll be like a local host. That's it. From that point on, you just need to add the objects. I'll show you one example, and then I'll just fast forward and we'll see the page completed. So let me go back to the page we had before. So let's say I want to add this. This is a KPI with a background. Let's say I want to add this KPI to my web page. Let's say I want to add it right here. So I can come here. Look how easy it is. You just have to right click, and then you go to share, which is share. And then you click, and you can click any of this. Embed, I think, is the easier. You don't need to copy this iframe. This is what we used to do before. Some browsers are, we're starting having problems with iframe within some browsers for security reasons. But what you need to do is you see object ID. You just copy the object ID. So we need that. And we need the application ID. So for every object, we need the application ID. What's the application? What's the object? What's the application? What's the object? So that's the object ID. Again, you right click, go to share, embed, find the object IG, and copy. How do I find my application IG? It's in the browser URL. You see where you see app? Whatever is after, before the next slash, it's your app IG. Just that string there. You copy that, you copy the object IG, then you're good to go. So what do I do? Again, it's all in the documentation. So we have now this new tag. Let me go here and let me, I'm only copy and pasting. We have this new tag called Qlik embed. So let me find a location. So for that one, patient demographics, I'll place it right here. So Qlik embed, and I can make this bigger so we can all see. So Qlik embed, that's the tag. And then basically, what is the UI you want to add? Actually, this one is the selection one. It's not the KPI. Let me get the actual KPI.
But you're just copying and pasting from the help, right?
Yeah. If you go back to the help file, which is this one here, and if you keep scrolling, you find this.
So even like Alex could figure this out, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
you guys need to go to couples therapy. You guys keep doing this to one another. So app IG, object IG, done. And you do that for every single object. Now, let's fast forward. And this is how we would look after I place all the objects that I want. So this is a selection toolbar. We can do that as well. Then you don't need the object IG because it's a selection. It's an application level object, so it just inform the application IG. These are different objects, like I have two here, another object here. And then I have a chart. So these are all charts. So they all require the same type of code, HTML code. So UI, this is classic chart, that's the type. But we can also do an entire sheet. I had to refresh this to show it. It was open a while ago. You can show an entire, let me do that. Refresh the page. You can also show an entire sheet. So this is one example. It's one of the sheets that I have there. There we go. Where I can make selection, this accessing real-time AutoML to make prediction about chance of developing cardiovascular disease. So it's a real sheet that I have in the application, and I can embed that entire sheet. We can also do Qlik answers. So this is one example of Qlik answers. And it's not like an entire sheet where I have Qlik answers, it's just Qlik answers. How do I do those? So again, it's all in the documentation. But if I, let me show there we go, that's the one. So so that's the UI, classic app. And then I have one more, I have, instead of object IG, is sheet IG. And so super simple. The one that I show Qlik answers is this one here, AI assistant. So that UI parameter basically tells you what kind of object, and then each one will have different parameters. So each Qlik answers assistant, they have an IG, just like anything in Qlik. You just copy the IG, and again, it's only copy and paste. It's only copy and paste. So if I go back to the documentation, I will see, you see some examples here, and there is a full list of all of the objects and everything that you can do. However, there's one more thing. What I'm doing right now is basically displaying on a web page, and again, could be a SharePoint, could be any location that accepts HTML. But I'm basically showing what was designed before in a Qlik app. And I'm embedding that inside the application. So that's the app. So if the object exists, could be an entire sheet, could be in a specific chart, I can do it. However, let's say I want to do a chart that does not exist, but I still want to do it. Can I do it? Well, actually, you can. There is, let me go back to the HTML code, and it's all in the documentation. And it's this one here. One of the UI, so if we're embedding a chart, I said embedded, so I need to drink. If I'm embedding a chart that already exists, I would use this UI analytics chart. I'm sorry, classic chart. But if I'm creating from scratch, I can do like this, analytics chart. So that means you can create charts from the scratch, accessing the data in Qlik, all of the hypercube, the engine, all of the functionality. So just inform the app ID, what type of chart, bar chart, distribution, pie chart, all of those types that we have. There's no support for extensions yet, but all of the classic charts, you can add it. And then what's your list of dimensions and measures? These are my dimensions, these are my measures. I can write for the measures like the actual expression, or I can use a master item, a master measure, and just put the name of that master measure. They both work fine. And at the end, I have my chart. So I did a distribution. I have my chart built. If I change that, let's say I want a bar chart. Let me save. Can go back here. Bar chart on the fly. So that's super powerful. And honestly, don't be afraid of all of this code, because this somebody else did it. Some web developer already did. We just embedding just these little pieces to that web page. Look how easy it is. This I copied the prototype. I just copy from the documentation, and then I just need to set up this ID, and then what are the dimensions and measures? Like that's it. And I put like 2 dimensions here, 2 measures, and super simple. And
So Igor, so basically
Yes.
right now what you've done is you've taken and put onto the web page, and they're connecting into the IPC Global tenant. So you're using the licensing model for our tenant right now in your solution, right?
that is correct. Yes, that is
So
correct.
I guess something that I think I want to make sure everyone on the call knows about, and maybe Kurt can summarize a little bit at the end too if he needs to, but Qlik just came out with an anonymous access capability. So if you have public facing information, something that you need to kind of get out of your license portfolio so that basically just random people can get in, you're opening up the data, they have the capability now available. So talk to your sales rep, talk to IPC Global, and we can get you set up with that.
Yes, actually, that's pretty cool that you mentioned that. So look at one example. This is a real example. One of our customers, one of our most successful customers, the school district of Philadelphia. This is a web page. I'm not sharing any data that I should not, because this is public facing. The citizens of Philadelphia, they can actually look at this. So this is a web page, just like, they have there was a way better designer who designed this than myself. We don't have our new company. We don't have money to hire.
He probably wasn't drinking either. So
yes, and so that's probably actually that is true, because I know who he is, and he does not drink. So it's a normal web page. However, look at this. These numbers, they come from Qlik, and I can make selections. And let's say I can select. Let me select just this top one here. You see this? This is using the Qlik engine to calculate. That's why it's so fast. There you go. This is a Qlik API, but um, pretty well designed, and so then you're making this data available to the public. It could be public available. It could be you can attach it to some kind of authentication, not necessarily anonymous the way we have here, but it could be like once you see this, there will be a button to authenticate, and people have to enter the login information. So the security is whatever makes sense to you. Look at this. This actually looks pretty Qlik to me. All so if you combine the power of like a good design, you can make things look pretty cool. You want ideas of how this can be used. Qlik launched it in maybe 2 weeks, or maybe even less than 2 weeks. This website called explore.qlik.com is replacing the old demo website. So you can find a lot of demos for all of the platform here, including, let me get my drinks ready, embedded analytics. There are some super cool examples here. So if I click and explore all, then I can have a better look on those. And I pick one of this, and maybe it's not the most fun one. It's pretty much work related, but it shows the potential. So it's a whole CRM, and again, you can add like authentication on top of this. So of course, it will not be publicly facing in that case because there's sensitive numbers here. But then you can incorporate that, or it could be inside of existing CRM or any other system or SharePoint, etc. So these objects, this is Qlik, including like if I go to the dashboard, I have we can recognize some of these like KPIs and others. Okay, so yeah, the internet here, it's not the best, so it's taking a few minutes to render. But that's the power of the embedded, I'll drink in a minute, analytics. It's not just to put like pretty charts in a web page, but it's bringing analytics where people are, regardless if a web page could be the phone, etc. Right. So, Dr. Kurt, take us away.
Thanks. All right. And just for fun, embedded. All right. So we're doing well on time. We hope that the last 30, 45 minutes has been helpful getting some answers about embedded analytics. Since I started at Qlik, this has been one of my favorite underlying pieces that kind of, as I meet with new customers and pitch this, I go, did you know that you could do this? And Qlik, with working with IPC a lot, we have a similar thing that adoption is the measure of success. So one of the things that I always talk about when I talk about embedded is you have beautiful visualizations in Qlik. Qlik can be your single source of truth, but if no one is interacting with that, then how much good is it doing, right? Like, we need it to be true, right? We need the data to be good and we need it to be true. That's the first thing, but then we need people to interact with it. Or really, how long is your company going to pay for a tool with low adoption that no one's using? The ability to embed into people's normal work areas can be a key for various reasons. But we all on this call from Qlik and IPC have seen this drive adoption in various customers. It drives curiosity without having to log in to another tool. And really, when I say log into another tool, I mean break the pattern of what they're used to doing to then log into another tool. We know change is constant, right? And we all know how difficult that is. We think we're great at it until something actually has to change in our life, and then we're really frustrated by it. Even though we'll tell our colleague, well, you just got to get used to change. But anyway, I digress. Making someone do something new out of their routine and stick with that new thing, super difficult, hence why I don't have a six-pack. So we've seen time and time again where this an embedded chart or a visualization into the normal life and workflow, be it a CRM or another tool like that, people take notice and go, what's this thing? And become curious. And oftentimes that leads to them asking more questions and wanting to dig deeper into the data to understand how they get those things to change or how it affects them. Another use case, since we just ended on the CRM, is I had a customer, former customer, they're still here, just not my customer anymore, that they built everything out in Qlik, and people were thrilled with it. And then they took a year and said, we want to make Salesforce the one-stop shop for everything from sales to logistics to out of stock to delivery of stock to payments of invoices, past due payments, credit holds, everything lived in Salesforce. And they said, we've built all this great stuff in Qlik. We're now going to put those charts, we're going to put those things, we're going to put drill downs into the CRM, which in this case was Salesforce, so that everybody could use that as a one-stop shop to everything. Sales is going in. Hey, wouldn't it be great to know that you have a credit hold on that customer while you're trying to get this deal closed? Been there, right? That's not fun. Like, wouldn't it be great to know, like, hey, we shipped half of the product, but the other half is delayed and we need to know where that is? It's all in that one tab. So it's all possible. That customer will say it was not easy, but the result of it has increased. I think their adoption went up 6x as they got that all in there, which again, if adoption is the measure of success, that's a really, really, really good thing and a really successful thing. So the other thing that we also added in there was, like, if your organization would like to make visualizations or key things available in a public facing website, that's now possible in cloud. It's been possible on-prem, but it's now possible in cloud with anonymous access for cloud. Many times there's that info or there's something that you think is a key driver for your business that would make you stand out to your competitors, making some of that interesting data available. And you'd like that to be an active process when people go on your website, not just static with like a screenshot. That's now possible on Qlik Cloud, and we can always talk more about that if you're interested, both anybody at IPC or myself or your account manager at Qlik. So look at this. We're rolling in under the 45-minute mark, where I'm going to say this last thing, which is if you have to go, we understand, but we are going to open it up for questions. I didn't see many in the chat. I'll check again since I've been talking, but if there's any questions out there, let's do it. And of course, embedded. And nobody can see that I just dripped wine down my chin. Oh, that's great.
This is Mark. One of the things I didn't hear you touch on, though, I understand is quite possible, is when you're embedded into another application. So let's stay with Salesforce. It will be context aware. So Qlik can stay context aware, meaning, oh, I'm looking at a given customer or I'm looking at a given region, and the dimensions of that other application, Salesforce, Qlik will respect it natively.
Mark, that's a really good point. You should have been in the planning meetings for this, but no, that's really good, which is how that worked for that customer that uses Salesforce. It wasn't, I'm now looking at ABC supply company and now I have to drag this and then I have to click this and then it loads. It is already sitting on that page ready to go with all the info that you would need, specific context aware. Exactly. Any other questions or thoughtful comments like those of Uncle Mark Mearsman?
One of the things I love about embedded is the gamification. Just so some of you know, we also do manufacturing at IPC Global, and we put Qlik on the handheld intermic devices, which have you ever been in a warehouse and you scan products? So we actually put Qlik on mobile devices such as barcode scanners and other things. And what made it fun for the fork truck drivers in the warehouse is they actually saw their performance live on that little device on the fork truck. So data and embedding can be anywhere. It just doesn't have to be in a website. It can be on virtually any device, your phone. I'm looking forward to IPC Global finally publishing their Alexa skill. I'm in a relatively new car that has Alexa Auto in it, and I'll be able to ask my dashboard a question that'll come out of Qlik.
Yeah, and it's I mean, there's because Qlik was designed with such a strong APIs, that's so many things you can do. For example, a little spoiler, something I'm actually currently developing is not ready yet, but I got some of my Arduino kit with the LED screen and Wi-Fi module, and I'm able to connect to the Qlik Cloud tenant. And one of the use cases that I'm developing is like, oh, I have this list of tasks and I want to run this task or execute this automation, refresh this application or whatever it is, or send this report through a little like device that it would look like a pager once I 3D print. I wish I would bring here to Seattle, but because I don't have a good case to put all of the things inside, I didn't bring it because if you look like it's a board with wires and antenna, looks a lot like a bomb. I think was safer not to bring in an airplane. But it's the power of the API. You can, like Alexa, as Mark said, and many other things.
And I don't need to destroy our new company, Igor. I mean, if you get arrested, we're in trouble.
Yes, I don't want that.
Are you hiring, Igor and Jeff?
The economy is tight right now, so we're struggling, but we'll make it.
Yeah, I'm making fun videos, but they're not hitting the same way they used to. I don't know. So what are we selling to? Is it umbrellas or are we just data
No, it's a
about
healthcare
umbrellas?
company. It's a healthcare company. Yeah.
Healthcare.
I'm not sure who came up with the name. I'm not really bought into it.
Don't look it up. Umbrella Corporation, please.
Don't look it up. Any other questions? Everybody's light with the questions this time, which is fine. And we have some. Okay, listen. The only people that have posted ugly sweaters are the IPC people. Like, I don't know if they can even win their own prize. So
They can expense it, I guess. I don't know.
well, and like, listen, and then Jeff came prepared. Jeff packed a sweater this time because last time he didn't have one, and it makes sense since he owns like 90 pigs. So it's all good. It's good. All right. Anything else, Mark? Anything else you wanted to add?
No, thanks for letting me chime in.
Of course. Well, listen, we do these every quarter. We'll be looking through and thinking through what we want to do in Q1. If you have any thoughts or ideas about that, things you want to see, throw them in the chat or email any of us. We always want to make these interesting and fun and helpful. And there's always good stuff coming out at Qlik. So there's Pixel Perfect reporting is about to release. I think I'm allowed to share that. I don't know. But that's about to release. There's more stuff coming in 2025. So there's some stuff that's happened around AutoML with data prep and some more stuff coming. There's some really good things where you're going to start to see. There's not a lot of Qlik people on here. You're going to start to see, I think, more integration happening with the Talon pieces and even some Talon things starting to make their way into Qlik Cloud Analytics. So more to come on that as it is officially released. But there's your Christmas present. I gave you some insight there. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Jeff and Igor, thanks for doing all the things while you guys are traveling. We appreciate it. And we'll all be in touch. If you still have an ugly sweater, feel free to send it.
Merry Christmas,
Have a great
everybody.
day. Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye-bye.